Let's welcome Dan Dillon to Inside Check. Hi, Dan.
Hello.
Dillon.
Thanks so much for having me on.
We are going to roll. I got a 20.
No way. Tell us
All right.
everything.
Okay.
You need to tell us everything
All of the
about
secrets.
yourself.
Yep.
Every single thing that you're working on that hasn't been announced yet.
All right, here we
Actually,
go.
no.
Oh, all right.
He was ready.
He was going to do it.
That's Ray's job, but all right, we'll do it.
And it's our job
you-
to stop him.
You've been working in tabletop RPGs for a long time. When did you begin? What was your first thing that you published?
Sure. So when I originally got my start was back in 2013 when I started doing freelance work. And I didn't actually start with Dungeons and Dragons. I started with other games first. And I was doing third-party publisher work for some other games. I actually got into it by accident. A buddy of mine won a game design contest. And so he got to design an adventure for another game's organized play program. And that just sort of launched him into talking to other third-party publishers, like Rogue Genius Games was the one in particular. And he was putting together a plan on Facebook, and I was trolling him and jumping in with silly ideas and throwing in, what if we did a golem made of eyeballs and it pulled the eyeballs out of people and healed itself? And I just, was just being a jerk. And he said, all right, Dan, you need to shut up and understand that I'm going to steal all these ideas and put them in the book, or you need to come and write them in the book. And that was kind of like a light bulb moment where I went, oh, I could do that. I could go write it in a book. Sure. And
What
so
were
that
you
was
doing? Sorry.
What's that?
What were you doing at the time? Like in 2013? Like
what was my deal at the time?
What was your job? Like, yeah.
My job was stay-at-home dad at the time, actually.
That's awesome.
So when my son was born in 2009, I quit my career at the time, which was in mental health, and just went full-time stay-at-home parent.
Nice.
So, and I did that all the way up until I started freelancing in 2013.
Wow. I want to be a stay-at-home parent.
No, I don't.
It's a job.
And that's probably a good reason why you were so good at coming up with all these horrific monsters.
So when you started at D&D, what were the type of things that you started working on? I don't necessarily talk about products, but just like what kind of design and things were you doing?
Sure. So the very first things I did, I jumped in initially on some pretty crunchy mechanics. So I got to work on basically stat block and stat block adjacent things. I got to do magic items. I got to do some subsystems that you would see that show up in an adventure or in other products. And I also got to pretty early on try my hand at some world building and narrative work too. So I got to do a fairly good chunk of that right up front.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was great. It was a lot of fun. Still is. And my focus has primarily been on the mechanical side of things. A lot of player options, a lot of monsters, a lot of magic items and spells and villains and all of that fun stuff. But starting to branch out a little more into some of the more story crafting, which I'm really excited about.
What are some things, not spoiler, like things that exist currently that you worked on that you're very excited about, or for D&D?
Sure. Well, most recently, several of the monsters in Ben Rechten's Guide to Ravenloft. My favorite in there is probably the Luguru, the legendary big sort of lord level werewolf. That one was super fun to work on.
That's a Dan Dillon special right there.
I did the draft. Yep, that was one
right.
of my drafts, and then the team gets a hold of it, and everybody gets to weigh in and pick up any of the places where maybe I missed the mark and sand the edges down and just make it better and better. And so it turned out great. I'm really proud of that scary, scary monster.
Do you ever feel like it's done as a game designer? Are you like, cannot make this better? Or are you ever scared to like open up Van Richten's Guide and be like, I don't want to read what I published because I know I could have done better?
There will always be something you see and you're like,
like any writer.
If I in the shower this morning, I could have done it this way. And that happens to everything, to every bit of text in every book ever written in the world. But one of the things I learned early on is that perfect is the enemy of done. You strive for the highest quality bar that you can, but you do have to give yourself that. At some point, it does need to be done. You can't just keep iterating on it. You've got to hit the goal you set out for, and then be comfortable with that and move on to the next step of the process. And that step might lead to more revision, like playtest. So,
Yeah, I think I forget what director it was, but it's basically said that no film is ever completed. They're just abandoned.
Right. Yep. Same deal. There is that feeling often.
Like, this is all I can do.
Tinker.
95% there, Alfred Hitchcock.
Yep. And we'll take 95.
Heck yeah.
Dan, if people wanted to follow along with the stories you're telling about D&D and your campaigns, what's the best way for them to do that?
Sure. So that's on the Twitter. I'm at Dan_Dillon_1.
Number one.
Dan's number one.
Just remember that.
There's a lot of us out there on Twitter. So.
Well, that's a whole new campaign that you'll be pitching to the design team of how to destroy all the Dans.
All the Dan Dillons against each other.
There can be only one.
Destroy Dan Dillon.
Highlander.
It's got all
Dans must die. Yeah.
Thanks, Dan. Hopefully we'll see you in the office soon.
Yeah. We're getting back to something resembling a new normal. So fingers crossed. Looking forward to it.
Me too.